What's up, everyone? It's your boy Scott. Welcome to the Scott Reporters. Today I just wanted to get in front of the camera and talk to you guys about a series that I have absolutely fell in love with. A series that if I was doing regular videos on it every week, which I will be doing in a while, in probably a few more weeks, I would definitely be talking about it. It would probably be the highlight for me, and that is Made in Abyss. This series is by far my anime of the season. But the rate that this series is going, it could be in contention for anime of the year because it's kind of been slim pickings this year as far as things that we can put on the top. But Made in Abyss, it was a dark horse for me because I watched it on a whim just because I liked the description of it. But once that first episode hit, it automatically hit all of the points. And I hate to compare things, but that first episode alone, and as the series got further, it reminded me of a little something that you guys know called ReZero. It has that type of vibe where it starts off as, you know, something you may have seen before, something happy, you know, it's kind of a fantasy setting. You got these little kids, but the dial just kept going up and up and up. As a matter of fact, in the first episode, we seen how dark it could get as that kid Nat almost got eaten by a big ass sandworm. So yeah, Made in Abyss has taken me by storm to the point where I don't even want to wait for the episodes right now. I started reading the manga, but this is going to be, for the most part, spoiler free. I'm not going to dive too deep into the manga because where I am right now isn't too far off from where we are in the episode that aired today, which was episode 6, where we met Ozen. So I'm not that far along, probably maybe only 2 or 3 chapters from where we got to today. As far as the manga goes, they have been doing a very good adaptation as well. I mean, there are some things that are censored, mainly because there's a lot of nudity in this series, and the nudity comes from these 2 kids, mainly Rico and Reg. And you remember, these kids are like 12. So one thing about the manga, if that's the type of thing that makes you uneasy or something that you can't look past, it ain't going anywhere anytime soon, because one of the tortures that they have, or one of the punishments that they have, not necessarily torture, is that when you get in trouble, they hang you up naked. It's just like commonplace in this series. And we see, like, Rico has no problem walking around naked, even though she's only like 12. So, you know, it's a little bit unsettling. The manga kind of makes it a little bit even more creepy because of the dark tone that we have. But yeah, this series, this really, I'm just gonna be going off the fly. I just wanted to talk about this series because I got some questions. I got a lot of questions about this series. And again, the anime and the manga has been doing a very good adaptation. They've been doing roughly 2 or 2.5 chapters per episode. There's 42 chapters total, and this episode that we left off on was like chapter 13 in the manga, so they've been doing a very good job. I'm excited about Ozen. I really like the character. I like the design. She's a tower. She's like over 6 foot because remember, Reg says she's over 2 meters. And she gives off that vibe. It just seems like she's a hard ass. It seems like it's more to her than we see, because even if you look in the episode where she was, you know, talking to Rico, where she's all nice at first, and then she just went from 0 to 100 like, yeah, I remember you, little brat. I wish I could have got rid of you. I mean, she is going to be an interesting character. I can't not wait to get into her even further. And again, I'm not too far from where the episode was today, so I can't really dive into her as a character as a whole. If I do, it'll go into spoilers, and you're going to see that next week anyway. So I'll just leave that at that. But let's get to this series itself. Again, bringing out ReZero vibes, where the series just progressively gets darker and darker and darker as it goes on. And it's like they're so subtle about the things in this series. Like, for one, why are the kids in the torture room? You know, like Rico, her room is like a former torture room. Why is that even in an orphanage? Number 2, why is it an orphanage to begin with? Because you got all these people going down into this abyss, lower, lower, and lower, which leads me to wonder, where did this abyss come from? We haven't got that much backstory on the abyss yet, but it goes down, I believe, 7 layers. Each layer is more severe as far down as you go, as far as the danger and the things that you will find. Right now, the only thing we know is these people are trying to just get to the bottom to get more treasure because they want to enrich their country or wherever they are. But it's like the further down you get, the more dangerous it gets, to the point like when you get to the 4th layer, for example, when you try to ascend up, you go into something called the Curse of the Abyss, where blood comes out of every orifice in your body. Like, oh my God. And we're not even gonna get on the 5th level, where if you go down to the 5th level and you try to come back up, you lose your humanity. You become something called a Narahate, where you go crazy, you lose your humanity, you die. I don't even want to know what's gonna hell to happen if someone went down there and tried to come back up. We got these crazy asses called white whistles that have been to that point, but no one's ever been back up. And if they have, I shudder to think what they're gonna look like when they do come back up, because this series is dark and we see the darkness more and more and more every episode. But my question is, where does this abyss come from? I mean, of course we know it's there, it's been there for thousands of years. But for something to be so far down in this world, it must have been like a comet or something that maybe came down and caused this destruction and made this abyss. Did something open up and come in? I'm pretty sure it didn't appear out of thin air, but what interests me even more is, again, like I was saying, the things that they do in this series that are so subtle and so passive. Like back when Nat was walking with Reg and he found that skeleton in the praying position, and it goes back to like even with Rico as well, and they just kind of brushed it off like, oh yeah, those skeletons that we see in the praying position, yeah, those have been there all the time. So yeah, and it's just like, hello, no one thinks this is a big deal. What the hell is going on with this? I mean, these skeletons in praying position, that means they were praying for something before they died. Were these the people before this comet hit and made the abyss? What the hell is going on with that? Why is nobody bothered about it? And I got a feeling that is a big point in the story. So much darkness, so much mystery, and that's what I love about the series overall. Like again, when you get to the 4th layer and you try to come back up, blood starts coming out from all over your body. It's like they write you off as a person if you decide to go down that far and try to come back up, because no one's going to believe you, because you're either going to be dead or they just don't believe it anyway because they don't have proof of anybody coming back. But another big point of this series is Rico's mother, by the name of Liza, who was a very well-known white whistle. She's almost a legend, and she gets somehow a letter gets to Rico that tells her to come down to the abyss. But what we found out in this episode from Ozen is that that wasn't even her mother's handwriting. As a matter of fact, and this is something I thought anyway after hearing about how bad the abyss is, she's like, her mother's dead, like your mom's dead. And one of the other characters, I believe it was Nat, brought this up as well, because Rico, you know, you have to have that character who is the optimist, the character that wants to do what they have to do no matter what. And she's like, I'm gonna go down and find my mother because my mother's looking for me. And you know, I didn't like the way it went out, but he was right, because he was like, look, your mom's dead, okay? There's no way your mom can still be alive. In this episode with Ozen, we found out that she found her mom's like weapon, or like a big pickaxe, and she found her weapon, she found her whistle, she found all that on a grave. So yeah, I'm pretty sure she's dead. And if she went down even further, she probably lost her humanity. She's probably not recognizable anymore. I mean, honestly, as dark as this series is going, I mean, yeah, I can see the light in it by her mom still being alive, but also at the same time, especially if you start reading the manga and get a better feel of the tone of how dark this series really is, yeah, her mother's probably not human anymore. And that's what I'm thinking as well. I cannot wait to get more into the white whistles, because we've seen 2 already. We know of Liza, who is Rico's mother. We also know of Ozen, who is also a white whistle. So I'm pretty sure there's some more out there. But you gotta think of the mindset that these people have to be in. If the white whistles have the authority to go down deeper into these layers, and because there's 7 total, no one's been past 5. If you've been past 6, you haven't lived to tell about it. They cannot be in their right mindset. Something has to be wrong with these people in the head, and I think that's when it's gonna get really scary, because the anime is moving at a very interesting pace as well, to the point where I think we're on layer 3 and probably heading to layer 4 right now. And this is the same pace that the manga's running as well, so it's making me think is this is either gonna be a very short series, or maybe it's going to be more than meets the eye once you get past. Maybe it's just the bad layer, and who knows what's beyond, but no one's survived to get beyond. And if you try to come back up, that's, oh man, it's just all bad for you. Which leads to my next point, which is the character that is on everybody's mind, Mega Man, aka Reg. This kid, I have to wonder, he seems to be a cyborg. I don't want to go as far as say that he's a Narahate, because you know, you lose your humanity if you went down too far into the abyss, if you got to the 5th layer and tried to come back up. So that's not exactly what he is. But the fact that he is a cyborg, somebody had to have experimented on him. Maybe he was human at some point, but I'm really interested to know, and one of the biggest mysteries of the series is what is his game? Because he had to have come down from the abyss because he was already there. So when he saved Rico back in episode 1 from that big sandworm thing, is he sent by his mother? Is his mother truly still alive and she was able to get this robot built and sent them back to get up to the top to find his daughter? Is there some type of power that actually sent this? And you know, the thing that comes up in my mind with Ozen saying that it wasn't her mother's handwriting, this letter that she got telling Rico to go down and meet her at the bottom is false. It's definitely a villain here somewhere that's probably trying to get someone down there, because this all goes back to Rico too and how she's gonna factor into things, because she doesn't exactly have immunity to the curse of abyss, but she was born within the abyss, so maybe she can last a little bit longer than the human, and maybe it's something within her because she was born into the abyss that could be the key to somebody getting down further. Which goes to the biggest question of all: what the hell is at the bottom of this abyss that people want to find out? Besides treasure, why would you even want to put yourself through that? Why are these people, these white whistles, these red whistles, black whistles, and etc., why are these people even being made to go down into this place and leaving their families and making their kids orphans? It must be something really big at the bottom that someone's not talking about, that we don't know yet. It's a lot of mystery in this series, and that is what's so good about it, because you just don't know, and this makes you sit there and think, and it makes your head spin right now with all these theories. Man, and again, I hate to compare, I really do hate to compare, but I haven't felt this good about a series since ReZero. I'm upset it's only going to be 12 episodes. I mean, we all get upset when something's only 12 episodes, but sometimes it's for the best, because it's a very short series. It's getting dangerously close to the manga. Again, it's only 42 chapters and we're on 13 already, and we're halfway through the series. So I just hope that it ends cleanly. If we don't get a season 2, I hope it ends at a clean enough point that, you know, you'll be like, okay, I'll read the manga, or because it's still going, we're not going to be happy with the ending. But I just hope it's not one of those things where they try to rush through and show us things that happens all the way at the end to where the manga is now in like an episode or two, and ruin the pacing that it has right now. I hope that it's a good enough point where you can be content with waiting, or you can pick up with the manga and they don't ruin it, because we're at the halfway point now, so it's still time for things to go bad. And also, just like in another series that I covered, The Promised Neverland, you have to wonder about the creatures of the abyss itself. As the more you go down, the more intelligent, the more instinctively better these monsters are getting, the more dangerous these monsters are getting. I cannot wait until we start to get to the point where these things, they're not mindless anyway, because they're smart enough to actually hunt, like we saw in the one episode, the thing called the Corpse Weepers, I believe, where they can actually mimic someone saying help in order to lure you in, and then they're gonna eat your ass. I mean, that is scary. That is absolutely scary. Let me focus here. That is absolutely scary that something can actually mimic a human to the point where it can lure humans in. You gotta think about the intelligence of these creatures at this point. Oh man, it's just so much I don't know about this series, and it's so much that my mind's racing. That's why I made this video, so we can just talk about this. I really want to hear what you guys think. What are your thoughts on this series? Manga readers, don't spoil. Again, I'm not done with the manga either. I'm just reading it a little bit by a little bit, so I don't want the manga readers to spoil the anime onlys. I want them to have their own experiences. Even as I'm reading the manga, I'm not going to spoil people, but I don't think it's far enough for us to get these type of answers anyway. Now, there is a certain character that I know about. If I hear anybody mention Best Dad, I'm blocking the comment, because I don't want people to be spoiled. I almost got spoiled myself, and I stopped myself from reading a comment about it. So yeah, no Best Dad comments. Let us find out on our own, because I haven't found out what it is yet, but I got a feeling once I got to the chapter. And yeah, Let me know what you guys think of Made in Abyss. And what I was saying, I got a little bit off track, but the monsters themselves, I wonder how intelligent these things are and how more intelligent they're gonna get as we get further down into the abyss. If we're in like the second and third layers and we got creatures that are smart enough to actually lure humans in, something's going on. This could have been a bad experiment gone wrong, which was the origin of this abyss, or some type of alien life form or meteor or something that fell, causing this. And it has like a Dante's Inferno type of thing. Another thing that this series reminds me of, it's a game on the DS called the Etrian Odyssey. It kind of has that feel too, how you're going down deeper and deeper and deeper. It's just so many good things. And of course, again, the comparison to ReZero, or how this series has just that progressive darkness to it that only seems to get darker and darker with each episode. Man, anime of the season for sure. Definitely in the running for anime of the year, because we haven't had that much besides the obvious, you know, like Boku no Hero and Attack on Titan and things like that. But as far as new properties, this is by far the best of everything new that we've seen this year. So let me know what you think of this video. Let me know what your thoughts, your theories, your comments on this series. I would love to hear from you guys. I would love to cover the series if I can get things. It's a little bit too late for me to kind of like do weekly reviews for it, but maybe like when it's all over, I'll do another video about my feelings overall, or maybe I'll just do another video altogether just when I have more things on my mind. But let me know what you think. I really want to know what you guys think of the series, how you feel about it. Is it your anime of the season? Did it blow your expectations? Were you caught off guard by it like me? I'm gonna go ahead and get it out of here. So guys, if you liked the video, go ahead and drop it a like. And if you want to hear more, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. There's not a shortage of content for you guys to indulge on this channel. And just to let you know, if you want to support the channel even more, you can also donate to my Patreon. I have a link in the bottom in the description. And as I always say, you guys can be anywhere on YouTube right now, but you chose to listen to me. I really appreciate that, so thanks for stopping by. On that note, it's your boy Scott signing out. See you soon.